I think James Gunn's DCU is going to succeed. I genuinely do. And that may be weird to hear based on the title of this video, but I think both can be true at the same time. Even though I trust James Gunn enough to have faith in his ability to put together a cinematic universe worth caring about, I can't ignore the fact that we're almost 4 years into his tenure as head of DC Studios, and things already aren't looking great. But what do I mean by not looking great? Well, it's pretty simple actually. I think that the content that DC has released in the last couple years, as well as the content they have slated to release in the near future, are just not very promising. Sure, you have Superman, and I'll talk more later about him, but aside from that, after 4 years, what do you really have? Creature Commandos was the first project that James Gunn released, and it came and went without a second thought. Nobody really cared about it then, and now? It's like it never even happened. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad, and critics agree with that, it just didn't make any sort of meaningful cultural impact within the DCU. But hey, it was the first project, and not every cinematic universe can start off with an Iron Man or something like that. But then there was Season 2 of Peacemaker, that was considered a success with critics, but ultimately suffered a huge drop-off from Season 1 in terms of viewership, and also left most people unsatisfied with its ending. That ending also seemed to set up a direction for the DCU's future, but without spoilers, it wasn't one that seems like it's going to be paid off anytime soon. That's where we get to today, with Supergirl. And this movie, once again, is not bad, but early reviews are very mixed, and the box office projections are, not good. And I think this is kind of highlighting one of the biggest problems with the DCU that James Gunn has set up. It's that he's trying to take Marvel budgets and Marvel ways of thinking and apply them to DC without doing the legwork to establish the trust that the MCU did. Think about it. Years ago, in the Infinity War and Endgame era, it didn't matter what Marvel put out. If it had the Marvel Studios logo on it, it was going to make $1 billion. Black Panther, new character, boom, $1 billion. Captain Marvel, new character, boom, $1 billion. And so Marvel felt comfortable giving these big budgets to those movies because they had a dedicated fan base they knew would 100% go see whatever they put out. And I'm not saying that DC doesn't have that. I can definitely recognize that there is a pretty respectable chunk of DC fans and comic fans in general that will go see every single movie that they put out. However, that chunk is not going to come close to making you the kind of money you need when you're making movies on this high a budget. Supergirl had a reported cost of about $175 million, which isn't ginormous for a superhero movie, but it's also still a lot for one about a character nobody really knows from a studio that doesn't have that built-in trust yet. And as a result, and I think most people could probably have seen this coming if they had just thought about it, the movie looks like it's going to flop. Not only are weekend projections looking rough for its opening, but there's no way that this movie, across its entire theatrical run, comes close to making a profit. And it's not even like this is a one-off thing either. Superman, arguably the most iconic superhero on the planet, was made on a budget of about $225 million and only managed to gross about $620 million. And that's not a flop. It's not the DCU failing or anything. In fact, it's considered a profit, but only barely. If your most iconic character is leading a movie meant to kick off your universe, and that movie struggles to make a profit, correct me if I'm wrong, but does that not make you rethink some things? And then I look at the future, and it would be okay if there were other guaranteed successes that I knew would come and save them, but there's actually quite the opposite. Instead of playing it safe over the next year or two, DC and James Gunn are actively taking risks. And I don't hate that, I actually kind of respect it, but it certainly opens the door for things to go wrong. The next DCU movie after Supergirl is Clayface, which is a disturbing body horror movie meant to set up one of the villains from Batman's Rogues Gallery. And I don't hate the idea, like I just said, I actually respect it a lot, and I think it could turn out to be a really great movie, but think about it. This is already a villain the general public isn't very familiar with, and this is a horror genre that a lot of people just don't choose to go see anyway, so I would honestly be surprised if Clayface is able to be some massive success. The budget is lower, so that helps, undoubtedly, but I'm just a tad skeptical right now. Another grand issue with the DCU right now, and I've heard a lot of other people say this isn't some original thought by me, is that everything feels very James Gunn-y. And sure, he's the figurehead behind this whole thing, and having some sort of identity is better than having none at all, but at some point, when we're 4 projects in and every single one of them has had significant script oversight from James Gunn himself, everything starts to feel the same. It's the quirky humor, the Band of Misfits story, the needle drops. Every project so far, including Supergirl, has had a ton of that. I know it's a problem that can easily be addressed going forward. Just let different filmmakers make their own movies in their own styles. It's that simple, and I know that's going to happen, but setting a precedent of your first 4 projects having the exact same tone throughout is kind of a dangerous corner to back yourself into. And on top of that, I know we have Clayface coming soon, and that will be a significant change of pace, maybe even too big, but nonetheless a change of pace. But where do we go from there? Right back to a Superman sequel. The only projects that feel like they have tangible momentum are very James Gunn-like projects. What about The Brave and the Bold, the new Batman movie that was announced years ago and still hasn't cast a single character? I know you don't want to compete with Matt Reeves' Batman sequel, but at the same time, you can't just wait around to introduce what is one of, if not your biggest character. And that's not the only thing stuck in development. At the time of recording this video, there are currently 10 other projects in development for the DCU that don't have release dates. These include things like a Wonder Woman movie, a Swamp Thing movie, a Teen Titans movie, a TV show about Amanda Waller. I mean, I'd get it if you wanted to go ahead and announce that you were developing Batman and Wonder Woman, those things that everyone can start getting excited over, but it feels like they went into the comic store and grabbed the first stack in the DC section and decided to just adapt every single one of them. I believe the phrase I'm looking for is that they have too much dip on their chip. But let's circle back to the beginning of the video. The first thing that I said was that I thought the DCU was going to work, and I still do. And that's because despite the fact that I do think there is a clear and present danger for the DCU, and I think that right now I would comfortably say that it is in trouble, I think it's just a little bit too early to tell. If there wasn't such a clear plan going forward, then it would be one thing. If they were greenlighting these projects as they went, and they went on a run of a couple flops in a row like they're on now, then it could all get canceled right then and there. But maybe that's why James Gunn decided to send so many things into production at once. Because it's better to have a clear and defined universe with lots of established characters that you can do whatever you want with than it is to go one project at a time and put the entire weight of your universe's future on the shoulders of one thing. If there wasn't already a Batman movie and a Wonder Woman movie and a Superman sequel in development, who knows where we'd be right now? Peacemaker Season 2 wasn't what a lot of people wanted it to be, and Supergirl is about to flop hard at the box office. Who says the DCU wouldn't be dead right now if it weren't for all of these other projects already in development? And things can change, I understand that. Projects can be canceled, and to be honest, I'd be shocked if all of these things came out. Both because I can't imagine every single one of them releasing without a single problem, but also because Warner Brothers just got bought by Paramount, and I have no clue what things are going to look like for the DCU under new leadership. Like I just said, it's too early to tell, and it may be a bit premature to try to diagnose some inherent issue with the DCU while it's so young, but at the same time, I think there have already been enough questionable decisions made and projects released for me to say that it is headed down a path that needs at least some course adjustment, and I truly believe those corrections will be made. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree. I know this is kind of a tough subject with a lot of nuance to it. That's why I want to hear all of your thoughts below. If you want to help out the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos just like this. But with that being said, thanks again so much for watching, and God bless.